Hi, this is Joelle Cope from Aussie Beach TV. We're down at Murwillumbah today at the Lock the Gate protest.
You're watching me on Aussie Beach TV!
Aussie Beach TV.
We love Corker Boys!
Watching Aussie Beach TV. You're watching Aussie Beach TV. The hottest girl.
And I like the new interviewer you got here. Very pretty.
You will ever see.
You're watching me on Aussie Beach TV. Hi, it's Joelle here. We're down at Lock the Gate today, and I'm here with...
Scott Sledge. I'm the president of the Northern Rivers Guardians.
And why have you decided to come here to Lock the Gate today?
Well, because the government hasn't been listening. I've got 11 grandchildren. That's why I'm here. You know, nobody pays me to be here. And I challenge these gas miners. How long would they stay on the job if they didn't get paid? Where is their real commitment? Are they really there because they believe that gas is the way of the future, that we're going to benefit from gas? No, they're there because they're making a dollar. And we're here because we believe in our families and in the future.
This is a strengthening of the community. Our voice as a community is not being heard. We've had a vote in Lismore, which is the area I'm from, at 87%. And then the very next day, the minister says full steam with the gas. As you can see here today, this is just amazing. The people aren't going to stand for this being run roughshod over. And we're here for the long haul, and we're here for community and family.
Because I think it is important for the world, humanity, and in particular the Byron Shire and the Northern Rivers, that CSG be stopped yesterday.
Lock the Gate is a fantastic social movement protecting our land from the resource industry.
I just want to support the community. I think it's important that people protect their homes and their rivers, because a lot of people live right near the rivers, and if the rivers get polluted, which it's been proven that they will if they frack, then everyone suffers. So it's good to be here and support each other.
The last farmer I spoke to, I was almost in tears because of the story that he told me about his farm.
It's tragic, but I don't think it's just about profit. I think it's also a bigger agenda. I think it's a one world government agenda, and I think it's about Agenda 21, New World Order, world depopulation is part of the plan. I think that it's all disgraceful, and yeah, they need to stop it.
What is hydraulic fracturing, also known as fracking?
What is fracking? It's where they pump hot water down to split the rock to release the gas. So the pressure shatters the rock and releases the gas. That's why they call it fracking, because it fractures the earth.
It's about forcing chemicals under pressure with water and sand in order to open up coal seams deep under the ground and allow the gas to flow up to the well pipe.
Hydraulic fracturing uses chemicals to get into a coal seam which is not viable for open cut mining. They can go horizontal, they fracture the seam with the chemicals, which releases the water, which the methane gas is in, comes to the surface and it's separated. The produced water goes into massive holding ponds and the environmental damage that it's causing is irreparable. Has many different salts, not just salt as we know it, but all sorts of different salts with heavy metals.
I know what it is. It's like they drill and pump water and the water comes up all gross. And then we drink it and get sick and die. And they make money off it.
You're watching me on Aussie Beach TV.
Aussie Beach TV. You're watching Aussie Beach TV.
You're watching me on Aussie Beach TV.
Several countries around the world have banned coal seam gas mining, such as France and Switzerland.
Well, Switzerland's always been neutral. So they're fence sitters, and they've finally made their choice, and we should go with them because it's probably a good choice.
Why do you think Australia's government are backing the mining companies?
I think it's because the political parties are funded by corporates. And that is very clear that we don't live in a democracy. The democracy is governed by corporates, and that actually defies the word itself. That's the reason.
I think they think that it's our only option in the current global economic climate. Yeah.
I don't think they've really thought it through. The thing is that we've had DDT, we've had endosulfan, we've had paraquat, we've had all these chemicals that were given the green light once upon a time. And then they went, oh no, it's not such a good idea. And this is exactly what's going to happen with coal seam gas. If it goes ahead here, it's already bolted, the horse is already bolted in Queensland. And I've seen what's happening up there, and it is terrifying.
I'd say they're part of the World Depopulation Agenda 21, and they want money, 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 money. That's about it.
Money. It's just money.
Why is coal seam gas mining a threat to our property rights?
It's a threat because people are trying to get onto your land without asking your permission. So that's why we've got the signs "Lock the Gate," which means it is actually up to the individual owner of the property to let anyone onto their lands. There will be people that try to convince you otherwise, but you really got to stand on your knowledge of the law and stand strong.
Well, it's like the mining rights. Like, you work your guts out, you buy some land, you live the dream, and then you find gold or coal or gas or something, and the government just comes in and goes, ha ha ha, you might own the surface, but we own everything under it. And they come and they just take it. And, you know, you get a nice view of the big mine, the well, you know, next to your windmills, this big other thing, ugly.
So, you know, the government sells the land twice. It's once to you and then once to a mining company if it wants the rights to what's underneath the ground.
Well, the property belongs to the person that lives there. They have bought and paid for it with blood, sweat and tears. Why should someone have the right just to walk in there and do whatever they want to do? I might as well take my business and park it on someone else's land and do whatever I want to do. They've got no justification at all to move into anyone else's property.
Well, with property rights in certain parts of Queensland, if you have continuous ownership, you actually own the mineral rights. And there's a place called Ackland, and there was a Korean company that came in there and bought up the town, bought up the whole town. Now, that particular company owns the rights to the royalties. They do not have to pay royalties to the Queensland government. Now, how ridiculous is that?
If you listen to our federal parliament, which is very scary, I heard them say not long ago that the farmers have had their own way for too long and they've got to learn to share the land. Well, the farmers have been growing our food, and I consider most people see that as an invaluable service.
And I sort of tell everyone, keep the gate locked, no matter whether you're producing food or what you're doing. Keep it locked. We will be on the outside supporting you, and you keep it locked while you're on the inside.
Aussie Beach TV. You're watching Aussie Beach TV.
You're watching me on Aussie Beach TV.
That's really stupid.
Why is coal seam gas a threat to our water supplies?
Well, that's a huge one, because it's already polluting things like the Condamine River, which flows into the Murray, our biggest waterway.
I need to try and block the wind a bit. There it goes. So it's not isolated, there's plenty of them. Once again.
They're high, they're really high levels of gas. In the middle of the creek, in the middle of the river, sorry, the Condamine River. Look, it's all over there too. You can see the ripples in the water. It's everywhere.
Why is coal seam gas a threat to our water supplies?
It's a threat to the water supply because they can't even, for one reason, tell us what chemicals they're using.
Why is coal seam gas a threat to our water supplies?
I've heard that it poisons the shit out of the water, which is bad.
Why is coal seam gas a threat to our water?
Well, they're just going straight through the aquifers. It's as simple as that. These have been there for thousands of years, contentably millions of years, to provide humankind with an essential resource, that of water. And it is very clear that the next stage, after they've destroyed the water supplies, they will put a very heavy price on what is left. And that'll be in the hands of the corporates as well. So thanks very much. Not a good idea.
The Condamine River is bubbling. At Tara, I believe there's gas bubbling out of the ground. Where there's wells, they light a match and it flares up. So that is really terrible.
There is water underneath this continent. It is one of the driest, I think it might be the driest continent on the planet. On the surface, but underneath is the Great Artesian Basin with the most incredible water resource. There's water under there. I think I heard a figure that hasn't come up for 10,000 years. So that's the cycle of water. So what we're basically doing is drilling down into that, fracking that with these toxic chemicals, which we're not told what they are, and then expecting that water cycle of 10,000 years to be unaffected. Doesn't kind of add up to me.
We'd have to buy our water for washing in, for watering plants. We'd have to buy our water without, all these chemicals in it. And then it'll come to a place where there is no water at all without chemicals at all.
So they pump it into the ground, and then the gas is released by it because it cracks under extreme hydraulic pressure, and then it releases the gas, and the gas comes theoretically back up the well that they've dug, but unfortunately it also leaks into the surrounding environment. You can't control the way ground cracks, so it ends up bubbling up through creeks and through waterways, God knows, maybe into aquifers in the ground, up through the ground. You've seen on TV the images of people's water on fire.
Why is coal seam gas a threat to our water supplies?
Well, the gas that gets released goes into the water tables, and then the gas goes into the rivers, and lots of animals die if they drink the water. And it also goes into people's drinking water as well, and they're actually drinking gas. In some countries, there are sinks have burst into flames with the gas in their water, so inside the house becomes flammable. Yeah.
Besides that, we're not separate from the animal community. We are. And we can't be separate. We think we are, but we're animals as well. It'll affect. We need clean, potable water to survive.
Why is coal seam gas a threat to our farming land?
Well, they're basically wanting to come in and industrialise the rural landscape.
Why is coal seam gas a threat to our farming land?
Well, it's a threat to the farming land because of the water they produce. It comes up from they may put it into holding ponds, but that takes up a large area. Don't be kidded by the fact that they tell you it's only a small area they take up. It may only be a small area for the well itself, but it's a large area for everything else that goes with it. The holding pond to put the water in, the roads in there, the web of pipelines. And once they get their snout in there with one well, then they end up with 10, and then up with 20, and they just keep going because they think they have some God-given right to be there.
And look, it's not only the drilling and the intrusion underneath, it's the gas. It's the methane, not only that releases into the atmosphere, but there's children out at Tara in Queensland who are exposed to this, primarily methane gas, and their noses are bleeding. So it's not just the farming land that's being threatened, it's the farmers and their children.
Why is coal seam gas a threat to our farming land?
Well, if the water is tainted with all the chemicals, the grass won't grow. Well, the produce won't grow. The cattle can't feed off of the produce or drink any of the water. And you know, people go out of business left, right and centre. So even though that farming land has been in the family for so many years, it'll just be dead. There'll be nothing left.
You're watching me on Aussie Beach TV.
Aussie Beach TV. You're watching Aussie Beach TV.
You're watching me on Aussie Beach TV. What is your message to the coal seam gas mining companies?
Piss off.
It might not end today and it might not end tomorrow, but the fact of the matter is the process is doomed.
What is your message to the coal seam gas mining companies?
We're here to stay, we're not going anywhere.
My message to them is they are criminals. They are corporate criminals.
I would say, look into your hearts and know that you're doing the wrong thing, but all they can see is dollar signs.
My message to them would be to bugger off and leave us alone. As simple as that, you know. To me, they don't have any God-given right to be here. It's all foreign greed. It's no money for Australia because it's all exported overseas and sold, and they probably buy it cheaper over there than we pay for it out here. Who knows? But we don't want them.
There's no social licence for you to be here and wreck our community. We want to leave a future for Australians. So you better pack up now because we're going to cost you dollars from being here. We will be here passively active on your sites. We'll be stopping your drilling trucks from coming in. We're not going away. Bring it on.
What is your message to the coal seam gas mining companies?
Bugger off. I don't want you here. Out.
We may need the gas in the future down the track, so you better leave it where it is.
You can't come to the Tweed, sorry guys, go somewhere else because you got too many people here that are going to stand strong. They're not going to let you in. Power in numbers, we're just too strong, you have to leave.
What is your message to the Australian politicians about coal seam gas mining?
Bugger off. Same thing. We don't want it. And why are you doing it around farms and beautiful, you know, pristine land? Why don't you go somewhere out bush? Go away. I know they're at bush too, because I've seen it, you know, when I flew, I just went last week from Melbourne, I was looking out the window the whole time, a lot of the time, and I could see all little lights here and there, and they're all coal seam gas stations, I guess. There's quite a lot of them. You can see them when you fly over. If you just look out the window, there's plenty of them.
There's more to life than a buck. There's a thing called happiness and health.
And I think this issue has the ability to redefine the relationship between big companies and the people, and not only that, but government and the people, because I think that issues like this are serious enough for the people that it can garner a significant movement of people. It'll take time, but it's a significant movement of people to challenge even the authority of the government and the way that our democracy works.
What is your message to the Australian politicians about coal seam gas mining?
I appeal to them to ignore the source of their funding and pretend that they represent a democracy.
What is the point of having an environmental minister? An environmental minister that does nothing about the environment.
It's just an understood thing that if you make it to the top in politics, you write your own tickets because you know you're not going to be there in the next term, possibly. It's criminal activity.
Yeah, my message would be that they have to ask us a referendum, so it has to be our permission what happens, not their authority, but it's a referendum is when the community decides, and that's what has to happen legally. Yeah.
If you're just doing it for the money, well, it's another form of prostitution, isn't it?
You're watching me on Aussie Beach TV.
Aussie Beach TV. You watch watching Aussie Beach TV.
You're
watching me on Aussie Beach TV. What is your message to the Australian public about coal seam gas mining?
Wake up, Australia.
Wake up, Jeff. Everybody's wiggling. Wake up, Jeff. We really need you. Wake up, Jeff. You're missing all the fun now. Wake up, Jeff, before the day's through.
Wake up. It's your food. It's your water. Just because you live in a city, Sydney, 4 million people in Sydney, they're drilling in your water catchment, Warragamba Dam. They've been given the green light. Drill as much as you want. They're drilling in Sydney. They are going to ruin your water supply.
What is your message to the Australian public about coal seam gas mining?
Oh, wake up.
I think the Australian public have to wake up to what's going on in this big, beautiful brown land.
I think that people are already aware of coal seam gas mining and the hazards of it. You look at the northern rivers and you certainly see that there's, as I said, 87% voted in the Lismore referendum against coal seam gas.
My message to the Australian public is to get behind the ban coal seam gas movement. There will be a huge cost to pay for our children and our grandchildren and humanity as a whole if we allow this activity to continue.
Message to the Australian public, well, it won't matter who they are, what they do, what walk of life they're in, everyone will be affected, man, woman, child, old, young or whatever. It will eventually affect everyone because they will have fly-in, fly-out workers. They won't be worried about the people here that work on farms because they won't be able to get a job because they'll have their own workers. The towns will just disintegrate, they'll pay big rents, the people that are renting now won't be able to survive.
What is your message to the Australian public about coal seam gas mining?
Get educated and get active and do something about it. Find out how bad this process is and do something about it. You'll look back in 20 or 30 years and say, hell, what did I do about that?
Be a little bit informed. And if you see a lock the gate sign on a car, just engage and chat to them and ask them about it.
Take your head out of the clouds, mate, and actually see what's going on your land, in your backyard.
Don't trust the media, because, they're bought.
Do a bit of research, find out what it's about before you make a decision, and then once you made a decision, come and join us, stand strong and stand your ground.
Don't allow it. Fight. Fight. We need to set a precedent now so it can't go any further.
Yeah.
How can Australians find out more about coal seam gas mining?
I'd go on the internet, or you can go to come to the Tweed and ask us here. Internet's probably the best option. Yeah.
Google coal seam gas mining. It's very simple.
Yeah.
Get onto Lock the Gate website. There's heaps of great resources there, lots of great articles.
What is your message to the Australian public about coal seam gas mining?
Turn off your TV and turn on Aussie Beach TV.
Oh, there is a plethora of websites, in particular Lock the Gate. If you can log on to Lock the Gate, and that will give you all the groups that you can be in contact in your area, and just contact them. There'll be phone numbers, ring up whoever's the head person of that group, and they'll give you all the details, how you can be involved.
It's pretty easy to accept the media spin. Santos is brilliant at it. The PR, it's been sponsoring Brisbane's City of Lights, and everyone goes, oh, aren't they wonderful? They sponsored the Brisbane to Gold Coast Cycle Challenge. So their PR spin's great. Don't swallow it. Ask the people, ask the farmers. Go for a drive in the country and look at a well on a farm and speak to the farmer. See how he's getting on, not the mining company.
Yeah.
I suppose they could find out more if they stopped and listened to what we're trying to tell them. I mean, it's very hard to get the message across because you get to people and they say, no, it won't affect us. You've got to convince them that it affects everyone, and they've got to take notice of what's happening.
There's a fund of a huge amount of information out there. You can join in whatever part you feel you can play, and if it's only having a conversation in a pub with the chap that night, that is something you can do.
They've got to take notice of the film nights, the information that's handed out. Don't think that we're just a mob of extremists. We're here to do the right thing by the country and the people that we live in it with, not to be overruled by some corporate greed. for a bit of mining that might last 20 years is just not on. And I'll be like my father fought in the war, we will fight to the very bitter end. And those poor fellas would turn over in their grave if they could see what was happening to this land today.
Don't frack with Australia.
You're watching me, Gwillem, on Aussie Beach TV.
The hottest girls you will ever see.
Thanks, Joelle. You've done a good job. And you're very good looking.
You're watching Aussie Beach TV. You're watching Aussie Beach TV.